What is up, Endgame community? Welcome back. It's time for another fantasy football draft. Speaking of drafts, we're getting close. I mean, still got a couple more weeks, but we're in the month of April, and that means the buzz around the NFL draft is just going to continue to get louder. Let's see if that's changed anything in terms of ADP for this best ball draft. We're going to do another big board. Those of you who already know the deal, get your apps ready. Get on underdogfantasy.com or on your phone. Go to the drafts, go to NFL, go to the big board. If this is just, too small timey for you, well, there is a bigger board and a biggest board. You can win a lot more. But we're gonna keep to the big board because we do this like multiple times per week. We're not quite there yet. All right, we ready?
I'm ready.
Do we give everybody enough time? I want to make sure everyone has time to get on and jump in, but I also don't want to waste time. So let's do it.
I think we've given everybody enough time. They know they know the routine by now.
Y'all know. Look, you've been waiting to draft. Get in the draft. We're gonna try to get in together. So let's do it. I know Ray's been waiting. Ray, if you're standing by, here we go. The big board, 30 seconds per pick. 3, 2, 1, and go. Oh wow, mine's full.
Really? Somehow this keeps happening. I'm in a draft that has 7 more to start. Should I get out?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in there then. Let's see. And I must have been the last one. As soon as I hit confirm, it threw me in there and it started. But that's okay.
I feel like that's been happening. It's been happening to us a lot this year.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in general, but also you notice that lately they develop quicker and quicker. I think people are starting to get the draft fever.
Right.
All right, so this one
needs 4 more. We need 4 more.
All right. We'll get there. All right, so aside from some of the rookie breakdown and visits and who wants what, not a loud weekend in terms of news for NFL. Is there something I'm forgetting? I don't feel like there was anything major since the last time we drafted.
I mean, no major player news. I know some of the cool rule changes for this year, right? We're gonna have the Skyhawk technology is gonna actually be used to for first downs rather than the chain. And I guess the chain gang will still be out there, but they're going to be using the Skyhawk. Somehow baseball still uses real umpires, but the NFL already. I wonder why the NFL is so much bigger than baseball.
Yeah. Not stuck in the past quite like baseball is. It's baby steps for baseball.
Yes. And then I also saw, I think this is actually more significant than people think. Touchbacks will now go to the 35-yard line on kickoffs.
Yeah, I saw that. That's because they don't want touchbacks, right? They want action. Right.
And I know a lot of people think, it's 5 yards, but I saw a stat that said like the amount of like the expected points gained in the 2-minute drill. Let's say like, right, there's a minute and a half to go and the team just scored and they're kicking off. Getting the ball at the 35 versus the 30 is worth like almost half a point more. Just getting those 5 yards, right? Because you're just so close to field goal range already.
Yeah, it's definitely should make a difference. Not a huge difference, but it's a difference nonetheless. And remember, we're going from what it used to be the 20 now to the 35. That's a pretty big chunk of the field.
Yeah, so I think we actually will see a lot of kick returns next year, which could be good for guys like Marvin Mims. Could be good for a guy like Marvin Mims, right? Might have to think about that a little bit.
All right, we're full.
Let's see. We got I know Ray is saying he's in. Daniel's in. I see Daniel. Well, okay, this is another one. So Harry asking, what about Hurts with the possibility of the Tush Push being banned? It fell 8 votes short of being banned. Now I know they said they're going to table it and revote, but that's a lot of teams that need to come around on saying no to the Tush Push. I think the tush push is still going to be around in 2025. What do you think? I think Pierre must be having dog issues over there. I don't know what's going on with Pierre. Hello, Pierre. Hello.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm sorry. Just trying to mute the dogs.
Oh, okay.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna take my guy. Can't believe he's my guy after not being my guy last year.
That's how it works in fantasy. So what do you think? So the tush push, obviously everybody just assumes they're going to outlaw it and Jalen Hurts is going to like no longer be a good fantasy quarterback, as if he only like is a good fantasy quarterback because of the tush push. I know it's a big part of it, but I think he could still score from the one plenty without Saquon Barkley pushing him from behind. But it fell eight votes short, and they're going to table it and revisit it later on. But I feel like that's still a lot of teams that need to be like, okay, fine, we'll outlaw it. Like, I think the tush push is still going to be here in 2025.
So maybe I didn't really spend too long like looking into the details of how the process works. But if they were that short, why are they revisiting it? If it's pretty clear that it didn't pass, why? Like, okay, that's it. Like, what do
because I think they really want to get rid of it.
Change their minds.
Yeah, I think they really want to get rid of it. But I think there's a lot of teams out there that are like, you guys are a bunch of whiners. You know what I mean? You guys are just a bunch of babies who are, you know, want to take your ball and go home because the other team is better than you. And they're like, no, it's not, and it's. Okay, yeah, sure. If they ban it, it's an illegal play. But here's my problem with banning the tush push. The way they worded, like the way the Packers worded it, was like you have to be pushed. Like basically, it has to be like the guy who took the snap is getting pushed from the guy that was behind him. So it's still okay. Like if a running back is at the 5-yard line and his teammates push him in, that's okay. But it's not okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like I think it has to be one or the other. Like you either have to say like, you cannot push a player. Like you cannot push your own player forward, or you can like because how many times does a guy like get stacked up at the 5 and then like 3 offensive linemen come in and like basically carry him into the end zone, right? And it's like, oh, touchdown. It's like, how is that? How is like, you know, nobody complains about that.
No, people love that play. When that happens, they're like,
right.
Oh, look at the whole team and the effort. Oh, everyone loves that. But the Eagles, who are the champs, but that's not okay. That's not okay.
Right.
You know what? The worst thing about it is it's so obviously just like a sore loser, like saying like it's not fair. They're too good at it. That's all it is. There's no way you can justify being anything other than that because you look at the teams. Hold on. All right, do I just go CMC here again? I'm definitely not going Bowers again. I know that.
It would be hard for me not to go CMC here.
I don't have as much CMC as you, so I'll go CMC. It's Sean McDermott, and we know the Bills are every year trying to find ways to change the rules to, you know, not lose. Like the overtime rule was basically because of the Josh Allen thing a few years ago. And okay, sorry, but the Bills are one of the ultimate whiner teams. They're like, it's a safety thing. Name one instance where a player has gotten hurt on that play where you can prove that it actually has to do with safety. That is the worst excuse because it sounds like they actually care about like the other players and like it's supposed to be for everyone's benefit when it's pretty clearly not, because it doesn't work for anyone else and you're mad because it works for the Eagles and that's it. Like we have a big, strong, mobile quarterback, but he can't do what Jalen Hurts can do. That's all it is. It's, you know what it is? Right. I was going to call it what it is. It's tush push envy. That's what it is.
It is. It's a bunch of teams try it and none are as good at it as the Eagles. So now they just want to outlaw it. It's like, you know what I mean? This would be like back when Peyton Manning and the Colts were like throwing for however, you know, like, oh, we need to ban the forward pass.
Exactly.
We ban it because they're way better than us at it. That's not fair. It's not fair. Yeah, and like Clayton's saying, yeah, it is the offensive line. That's the thing. This is why I don't understand. It's not a football play. Like, you take away the tush push, And Jalen Hurts will still score a bunch of rushing touchdowns from the 1 yard line because the offensive line is what makes it, not Saquon Barkley pushing them. Go back and watch all the tush push touchdowns and how many touchdowns actually needed the tush push. He scored like at least 2/3 of his touchdowns he could score without the push easily, if not more. Like, it's not even the tush push. It's just that's like the backup plan. Like, oh, the offensive line, like the defensive line actually won. Okay, well now we'll push him in. But when the defensive line wins, they just do it right on the next play and score. Like, even if the tush push gets banned, he'll still score close to 10 rushing touchdowns from the goal line because that's just the offensive line. It's the offensive line. It's not Jalen Hurts. It's not Saquon Barkley pushing them. It's the offensive line.
Yeah, everyone thought, oh, Kelsey's retired. They're not going to be able to. Yeah, it was
right.
He scored, I think, more touchdowns without Kelsey. It wasn't that.
He scored more touchdowns even with Saquon Barkley there.
Yeah. Oh, Barkley. No, it doesn't matter. Jalen Hurts is a strong human with extremely good ability to push forward from the squat position. That hasn't changed. The offensive line is still good. They just know how to do it. I almost I don't want to see it banned because not that I'm an Eagles fan, not at all. I don't care, but just because I think it's stupid to ban it.
Yes.
But part of me hopes that, okay, if it does get banned, that he still scores, 15 rushing touchdowns anyways. And then all the teams that voted against it and whined about it feel really stupid. So,
right. Then what are they going to whine about? Like, okay, quarterbacks aren't allowed to run in touchdowns anymore.
Yeah.
Like only running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends can score touchdowns. Quarterbacks can't score touchdowns anymore.
Exactly. There'll always be something. I took Terry last time. Okay, I'm on the clock. I'll just take Terry.
I know I'm mixing it up a little bit here. This is not normally what I do from this spot, but I thought about Jacobs there. I did. And I did think about Terry there, but I'm really coming around on DJ Moore having a monster year.
Yeah. Yeah, because even if they do, I don't see the Bears drafting a receiver early because they just did with Odunze, and that's not their most pressing need. I mean, you're going to see no Keenan Allen. You're going to see probably more a distribution for DJ Moore and Rome Odunze takes a big step forward. So,
yep.
Actually, there was sort of news this week now that we just saw in the third round, Breece Hall get taken. I might have to walk back what I've been saying about Breece Hall earlier this draft season because Aaron Glenn doesn't seem to be a fan. I don't know what is going on here. You've seen all that, I'm sure, about using 3 running backs, like not just 1 or 2 guys or mixed. No, like we're going to use 3 running backs. And now, and it's probably just pure speculation and rumor, but something about Breece Hall getting traded. And that's not inspiring me to want to take Breece Hall as my RB1.
No, but it's always tricky with these things, right? Because it's tricky. I mean, it depends. Like, let's see what they do in the draft. I mean, I guess Braylon Allen wasn't bad last year, so at least there is some potential threat there. And I have been saying, look, I don't think anybody. Well, maybe Jay Tatum was higher on Breece Hall. If I think back to like when he was coming out as a rookie, Jay Tatum might have been higher than on Breece Hall than I was coming out of coming in his draft that year. But now I look at Breece Hall, I look at his career, and I wonder, like, maybe Breece Hall just isn't that good. Like, really, maybe he's just not that guy we thought he was. Like, he's solid. He's not like bad, right? He's not a bad running back, but maybe he's just not that elite caliber running back. Who deserves to be a 3-down, every down, touch the ball 80% of the time type of running back. And so, because that's always the tricky thing here, right? Like, because what did we hear? What was it last year? The Vikings. Vikings were talking up Kevin O'Connell. They were talking up Ty Chandler all offseason, right? Oh, it's going to be a split. Yeah. Aaron Jones, Ty Chandler. But you know what? When the games are being played and Ty Chandler sucks and Aaron Jones is really good, it doesn't matter like what you thought.
Right.
I'm gonna go Hurts here for the stack, but I really want to go Devonta Smith, but let's go Hurts for the stack. Like, it doesn't matter what you thought, like what your plan was before the season. When the games start, you need to win games. And if Aaron Jones is way better than the other running backs on the team, Aaron Jones is going to get all the touches. So what I'm saying is, like, I do worry maybe Breece Hall just isn't significantly better than all the other running backs on the team, and it won't be hard for the Jets to give other running backs touches. You know what I mean? That is my worry with Breece.
Oh, I just wonder. My big thing is why come out and say that, because he didn't. It's not like, it's one thing that, like you were saying with Chandler, like pump up the guy, like, oh, I think he's capable, he'll be a big help for us. It wasn't about talking up Braylon Allen or Isaiah Davis or a certain. It was more like putting Breece Hall on notice. You know what I mean? That's almost like what other purpose would there be other than saying, like, yeah, he's not an every down back. And to then I was like, okay, well, what's the purpose of saying that publicly? You know what I mean? That's what makes me wonder unless he's just one of those guys who doesn't play around. He's just like, look, this is my philosophy. We're going to use multiple backs. Okay, that's normal. That's fine. But again, I'm trying to wonder what the motivation is here.
I mean, remember Aaron Glenn, he's a defensive guy. So,
right.
Maybe he does just believe in multiple backs and, yeah.
Take possibly my first McMillan.
Sure. Then Clayton's saying, I think his injury ruined him. I mean, maybe, but I mean, usually, especially this day and age, ACL, like last year is the year we should have seen him, really take that step forward. I mean, maybe it did. Maybe it did.
He wasn't. I mean, no, he wasn't like a dominant running back, but he wasn't bad either. It's not like he was completely ineffective. And, I think we got to give him a little bit of grace. But like you said, maybe that's the thing we have to think about, is whether we think it or not, doesn't matter, right? Does the coaching staff think that he's not capable of being an every down back or close to an every down back, or he's just not a special back, right? You just, sure, you're our lead back, but you're just 1A, and here comes 1B and C, to steal goal line carries. We saw Braylon Allen steal goal line carries early last year, right? That's
what I'm saying. We had the coaching staff that started the year didn't seem to view him as, a guy who needed to touch the ball 70-80% of the time. Mm-hmm. We saw the new coaching staff certainly didn't think he needed to touch the ball that much.
Yeah.
I'm just like, maybe he's just not. Again, I still think Breece Hall is a good running back. Like, there are certainly worse running backs in the NFL than Breece Hall, like, certainly. But maybe he's just not in that upper echelon of guys like we thought he was going, like he was, or how he's kind of perceived. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think, again, I'm not comparing them, but to some extent, we still attach kind of a certain status or value to a guy when he's either the top or one of the top two, let's say one of the first running backs taken into class.
Yes.
And I'm thinking of Javonte Williams. It's like we expect him to be a guy because he was one of the top, one of the top running backs from that class. Like, forget it. That was
right.
It doesn't matter anymore.
You have to
like,
throw
it does not matter. That's past.
Right. It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't even matter what he was as a pro. It doesn't even matter because we have basically, I guess, 2.5 years of NFL data now.
Right.
So,
maybe what could have been if he never did get that injury, but you know what?
Right.
He did.
Maybe.
Okay, I'm on the clock here. All right, let's go for the home run hitter. It's best ball.
Man,
I don't want to get too far into the hero RB thing if CMC is my first RB. You know what I mean?
Yep, that can happen. I went another 0 RB build here. I was going to take JT over AJ Brown, but he got taken right before me. And then I did consider Jacobs, where I took DJ Moore.
So I did, because you got the the Hurts, the Philly stack, right? You're talking about Hurts. You got Hurts and AJ Brown. I got my very first Jaden Daniels because I already had Terry because he was there. So we'll see how that turns out. But I actually don't mind so far. Don't mind this team. All right. Which hold on, we'll get to your comments. Hold on, guys. But I don't want to overlook this. What's up to everybody? Andrea's in the house. What's up, Harry? We already talked about that. Sir Boomer is back. What's up, Sir Boomer?
Boomer.
Been too long. Were you in this draft? I didn't check. Who's in this draft?
I know Daniel's in it. Ray said he's in it. But I don't know what Ray's screen name is.
Maybe I'm wrong. Isn't Ray the con man one or no?
Is he? Might be.
Could be wrong. All right. Well, what's up, Boomer? Other John, also in the house. Agree with that. Okay, so what about James Cook? There's a little noise here that he wants, of course, to get paid, and the Bills are like, nah, you can wait. So I don't know if this is true. He put his house up for sale. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't do that. He's still a Buffalo Bill technically. So,
I mean, maybe he just wants a new house.
Yeah, I wouldn't read.
The thing is, he's still under contract this year, right?
Yeah, he's not a free agent or anything.
All right. Well, if I'm going to get James Conner here, I'm going to take James Conner. Yeah. So I don't know. Sure, they don't have to pay him yet. I don't know. I'm still treating James Cook like he's a Bill, because what are the Bills' options? Like, are you really going to be able to trade James Cook going into a draft where there's legitimately 10 potential starting caliber running backs? You know what I mean? Like, is a team going to look at James Cook and be like, all right, do we trade our picks away for James Cook, or do we just draft a guy in like the third round? You know what I mean? Like, do we just draft one of these guys in the third round?
Yeah. The timing is not especially good, considering some people think there are like 10 starting caliber running backs in this class. So, despite last year with guys like Barkley and Derrick Henry, I don't think running backs are still quite as valuable to teams as the running backs themselves want to think. And there's always somebody who can take your job still at running back. So, and no offense, James Cook is a good running back, but I think he needs to realize he's like, dude, you're not Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry.
Right. And I totally understand like James Cook being like, hey, I want to get paid, because he's been he's been good 2 years in a row for them. And you don't, every time you step onto that field, you run the risk of your career ending. Right. Or, so maybe career ending it's not as extreme, because even if you have an Achilles injury, I guess you can at least return. But you know what I mean? Like, if he goes out there this year and tears his ACL, what kind of deal is he getting next year from a team? Right. Yeah. Or if he tears his Achilles, like, he's going to lose a lot of money, of course. So I totally understand it, but I also understand the Bills' point of view is like, hey, you're under contract for one more year. So,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, play.
Yeah. I mean, as good as he was last year, he's not what's going to make or break that offense. They will be fine with another running back if they have Josh Allen. So I don't think he's going to win that battle.
No, and I guess they already tabled it, but I'm not worried about it, because what is he getting? Like, it's again, what leverage? James Cook has no leverage here. That's the problem.
Exactly, he really doesn't.
So he could sell his house, but
yeah, that'll scare him. All right. That is Ray, by the way. He said yes. That's him right after me.
Well, I was going to go Pollard there, but you sniped me.
Yeah, you know what? I was actually between Pollard and a guy I'm wondering is either going to wind up being maybe a great value or a big bust is Tyrone Tracy. Because either the Giants get a running back who threatens him and he winds up not being worth a 7th, 8th round pick, or they don't and he's a stud. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time pulling the trigger on Tyrone Tracy, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, best ball, you have less risk. I think I'm taking some shares of him, but I don't want to be overexposed to him. And WPL says, give me Najee and Monty in the 6th, Connor in the 7th. You liked your Connor pick. Also, same for Aaron Jones. I agree. This is why I think it's fine to wait on your second running back, or if you're going 0 RB, like some people like to do, you just get those kind of running backs, and I think that's fine.
Yeah, I do. I feel like they're definitely good values. I mean, there's obviously, man, James Conner, one of those guys that like you just feel like the shoe is gonna drop, but then every year the shoe doesn't drop.
Well, yeah,
but you're like, but this will probably be the year the shoe will drop.
We'll see. We'll see. But you don't have to invest an early pick in him, so I think it's still fine.
And now we're at a spot which I absolutely hate. Oh man, I mean, I just can't get behind Jonnu Smith here.
Oh, I was gonna say Cooper Kupp is staring right at you, but you already have 5 receivers.
I definitely can't draft Kelsey. I mean, maybe Charbonnet, but it feels like all right. I don't think I've drafted Jonnu Smith once. Let's try it.
Okay. Pick 100. I don't feel like that's early for him.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. I can't imagine the Dolphins run that offensive scheme back. But maybe
I hope not. I hope not. There we go. All right. Somebody finally let Cooper Kupp out of the green room. It was Ray. Ray. Okay. Yeah, wide receiver's gonna get thin real fast, huh? It already is thin. All right. Not. I don't even like it here too much. I guess Pittman.
Nah, this is like the dead zone.
Dead
zone for every position.
Shaheed feels like early for him.
Right? I know Shaheed was off to a great start last year, but didn't he tear his ACL?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is like the ACL group here.
It's Hollywood. Like either the old guys.
Daniel, you're killing me. I thought I could get Njoku next round. Apparently not. Well, I should have just taken Njoku. Okay, well, here's a good question. WPL. So both going kind of the same range. Tet, or what is it? T-Mac? T-Mac or Godwin?
I think he means Jalen McMillan.
Oh.
Or maybe he does mean Ted. I don't know. See, this is going to be an issue all year, these two McMillans.
You know what? I'll tell you why I thought that. I actually thought Ted McMillan because I drafted McMillan and Godwin was there, and I was between those two, and they go in the basically around the same range. I assume that's what he was talking about because they're kind of drafted. Now, if you're asking who do you like more, I mean, Godwin's being drafted a lot earlier. I think it's got to be Godwin, right? Yeah, he's saying Jalen.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Godwin. I think you got to trust that, he's going to be the number 2. I know the only reservation I have, like if Godwin was 100% healthy, it'd be easily Godwin. The only reservation I have is what if Godwin's not ready to start the year, so I could see maybe, but I think you got to believe that if he's healthy, it's Evans, Godwin at the top of that chain. I do think McMillan will have some good weeks, but I think he's, definitely a better and best ball pick.
Oh yeah, definitely better in best ball. Yeah, I mean McMillan. Again, we keep saying this, and we probably will have to keep saying it. McMillan was really good down the stretch after Chris Godwin was out for the season and not on the field. So Godwin is clearly going to be ahead of him in terms of target share when he's healthy. Yeah, no, McMillan is a good pick. Sneaky good, and what? I think as we get closer to the season, and if we get positive reports about Godwin, McMillan will be even better value because his draft stock will probably fall a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, pick 12. Pick 12 may get this draft canceled. We'll see.
What is going on with pick 12? I see. Is that Stafford?
So pick 12 right now went T. Higgins, Burrow to start, Pacheco, Mixon, Hawkinson, Stafford in round 6, Pickens, Caleb Johnson, Kyle Pitts, and now Kyler Murray.
Okay. It's interesting.
Interesting is a word.
You can't accidentally pick Matt Stafford in round 6 because you got to scroll down just to put him in your queue.
Yeah, you have to actively look for Matthew Stafford. All right. I mean, I know I kind of need running backs, but I feel like the upside is still with wide receivers here.
Yeah, that's a pretty good pick. Actually, a lot of those same receivers I talked about last round are still on the board. So now I'm still going to ignore Shaheed. Just, I guess, take more Marvin Mims.
Hey, maybe he'll get you some kick return touchdowns now, too.
Yeah. I do need my backup quarterback. And then again, I feel like there's great value here for a QB2. There's three quarterbacks all in a row that were drafted as starting quarterbacks last year. Most leagues, 2 for sure, 1 sometimes.
Yeah, this is a good spot, like for QB value for sure. I mean, there's a lot of guys. Like you look at there's a lot of guys here that I think people are gonna be streaming a lot this year. Like all these guys here: Kyler, Brock, Drake May, Fields, Herbert, Penix Jr., Dak.
Yeah, and okay, well, see,
Stroud.
We talked about it.
Community went from like just you could not say one negative thing about CJ Stroud without just getting destroyed, and now nobody wants this guy.
Nobody.
He went from like a fantasy god to like nobody wants him.
Well, it's funny, and again, not making a straight comparison between the two. They're different, but okay. All right. You know what? All right. This guy is getting us canceled because he just took 2 more quarterbacks. Yeah. He just took Stroud and Love. He now has 5 quarterbacks. Thank you, Team 12.
This draft's getting canceled for sure.
That's ridiculous. Why do people do that? Anyways, we'll finish this out and we'll still look at our builds. It's still weird to me to see Drake May and Justin Fields going before Jordan Love and even CJ Stroud. I mean,
Yeah.
that's still weird to me. But what I was saying was if CJ Stroud continues to struggle this year, which I kind of don't think he will, but you never know, isn't it kind of odd with how, like, remember after his first full season leading the league in passing, Deshaun Watson was like the best young quarterback in the league in Houston and then, fell off a cliff. And then CJ Stroud, it's like the same thing. Like, best young quarterback in the league. And so I don't know, something weird in Houston.
Well, the Stroud, I mean, I talked about it last year. I think we both did, right? The Stroud hype never made sense because even if you look at Stroud his rookie year, he wasn't that good. He was good. But it wasn't like he had like this incredible year. He's just good. He was good. Right? He's good. He's good.
Mm-hmm. But he was especially good toward the later half of the year. So that's what we remember.
True.
I like seeing Cam Ward get some respect. There you go.
This is terrible.
You're staring at the running backs?
Yeah, I was either gonna go McCarthy or Tootin there. They both got picked. We got a dynasty question from Last Shinobi. Needs a top tight end and running back. Wants to trade the 102.
Oh, sorry, wrong one.
To get Laporta, 2.5, 2.8, and 3.3. I'm not trading the 102 for Laporta. And mediocre-ish picks. None
of those. Laporta, even if it was tight end premium, which you didn't say it is, you're not going to get any player equivalent to the 1.2 for those picks combined. So no, wouldn't do it.
Yeah, not doing that.
Well, I think this also goes back to the question: even if it is tight end premium, do you need a top tight end to win?
No, and even in tight end premium, is Laporta a top tight end? That would be my question.
Well, that's a fair point too.
Because look at the 102, you're either getting, well, you're not getting Gentee probably. So you're either going to get like Cam Ward, or if you really need a running back, probably Hampton. I'm on the clock here. Gosh, these running backs. I can't take Benson because I have Connor. I can't take Javonte because he's Javonte. Dobbins doesn't have a team. All right, I do like Devin Neal. We'll just take Devin Neal, I guess. So if you really need tight end, and running back, let's say you have really good quarterbacks, then you could probably get Hampton at the 102, at the 1-2, assuming Gentee goes 101, which I assume he will. Okay, so it's a 1 QB league apparently because he says the QB is Allen. He's got Walker and Swift. Yeah, so you need like another running back. Walker's okay if he's like your RB2. You got JJ Neighbors, Diggs, Flowers, so your wide receivers are okay. Yeah, so I'm thinking at the 102, you could probably just go Hampton, assuming Hampton goes in the first round or early second and goes to a good spot, whoever the RB2 is. And with those second round picks, you can probably get one of like Warren, Loveland, maybe Fannin Jr., wherever he go. Like this is a decent tight end class. Like I think there could be a handful of tight ends worth drafting.
It's supposed to be a pretty deep tight end class. Not quite as good as the one a couple years ago, the Laporta class, but it's got a couple of potential studs. You obviously don't want Likely as your starting tight end, but you don't have to have one of the best tight ends. That's usually not what makes a championship team. So I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it either. And look, you can always what I would be trying to do instead of trying to get a top tight end. Why not try to trade one of your 2.5 your 2.8 for a good tight end, like a David Njoku type, a Jonnu Smith type. Maybe even go buy low on Dalton Kincaid,
Sure.
something like that.
He's interesting. He's saying he had an offer for the 1.3 for Diggs.
I would take that in a absolute heartbeat.
Yeah, look, you know what? You like Diggs, fine. You like, the Pats, fine. I think you're gonna like whoever you can get at the 1.3
Yes.
more. If you can get that straight up, you got to do it.
You got to do it.
Diggs is Diggs is on the wrong side of 30 now. Am I right? And
yes.
Coming off a season-ending injury.
Yeah, I do think being in New England is probably the best case for Diggs, but really, what's the upside here? What's really the upside? Yeah. And again, the 103 could be like Judkins, Henderson. It could be a really good running back. Obviously, it's going to depend on where these guys land, but it could still, like, you could suddenly have, be stacked at running back. You could go from being like totally weak at running back to being stacked at running back like that.
Yeah, you got to take the 1.3.
Yeah, you got to. All right, well, I got to take Jake Ferguson here. I still can't take Javonte. I'm sorry.
No, I'm pretty firmly out on Javonte.
Yeah, I don't care that he's in Dallas. People are like, "Ooh, Dallas!" Like, it doesn't matter.
No, that's not a good thing for running backs anymore. Sorry, we got to get that out of our mind too. Like that mindset. Dallas running backs being good. Dallas offensive line is not what it used to be.
I mean, he could go. Who had the best offense? The Eagles. He could go to the Eagles. I don't think I would be in on. I mean, if somehow the Cowboys and the Eagles traded Saquon and Javonte straight up, I still don't think I would draft Javonte. Like he's been so bad he's been so bad. It's like, does it even matter? The Broncos had like a top 10 offensive line last year, and he was so bad.
Mm-hmm. Agree. I also, by that same token, I'm also still going to be skeptical of whoever Denver does draft at running back, because I just don't still trust Sean Payton to make anybody the feature back. You know what I mean? If it's a heavy pass catching back that they draft and say, okay, we've got plans for him. All right, maybe in a PPR league, but
that's why I think Travion Henderson to the Broncos would be home run.
Could be. I mean, that's a
great spot. He would be that Alvin Kamara type. Like, he might, like, it's crazy to think Alvin Kamara has never run for 1,000 yards in his career, but it doesn't matter because of what he does in the receiving game. If you put Travion Henderson in that Peyton offense, he could be that type of player. Not saying he'll be as good as Kamara, but he could be that type of player. But yeah, if they draft like if they draft like Caleb Johnson or something, which I doubt, but if they like a guy like that, it's like, nah, I'm out. I just don't ever like anybody that's on the board right now.
Yeah, that's the problem. Oh, man. I was hoping to get Harvey. I haven't got enough RJ Harvey. I mean, I guess I already have 2 rookie running backs, so I should stop. But
yeah, I just cannot wait for the NFL draft. Can't wait to see where these guys go, where they end up, which running backs suddenly are worthless.
Yeah. No, it's definitely going to happen. Okay, Clayton now. 2.5 PPR for tight ends.
Jeez.
That's kind of obscene.
I'll say we are going to make tight ends fantasy relevant, whatever it takes.
I don't know. That really helps Kyle Pitts very much, does it?
I mean, yeah, you still have to catch some passes.
Look at Ingram. I drafted Ingram in this draft right now, and supposedly Peyton said, "Yeah, that's our Joker. That's our guy. They're going to use him in that role." All right, I can see that happening. I think I can be somewhat bullish on Evan Ingram because you can still get him at a very, very nice discount. I think. Kyle Pitts, I just don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you can buy low on Ingram, do it. He's got to have a lot of value in a 2.5 PPR on the Broncos. It got to have a lot of value. 2.5 PPR. I mean, even if he catches 60 passes, that's like almost 200 or like 150 points just from catching the ball. That doesn't even factor in yards or touch. That's just from catching the ball.
Yeah.
That's more than any. Like, how many receptions did Jamar Chase have last year?
I don't remember offhand. Probably about a little over 100.
Yeah, I mean, that's a 60 catch tight end is getting more points from receptions than the leading receiver.
So it's a tight end premium times 2.5 league, and he said his tight end one is Davis Allen. That's no bueno.
That is no bueno. What are we doing over here, Clayton? Tight ends are more valuable than wide receivers in that league almost. Yeah, I would give up the 2.01 for Ingram in a heartbeat in that league. In a heartbeat. I wouldn't even blink.
Absolutely. Yeah. In that format, yeah. I mean, Ingram's not young anymore, but he's also not on the verge of retirement. He's got a new situation, a good situation. But again, with this class, you should probably take some chances, take some shots also during the draft. I mean, you don't have to get the first tight end off the board. Like I wouldn't spend the 1.4. Is that what you said you have? The 1.4 on like Tyler Warren? I wouldn't do that, but you can get it. Should still be able to get a good tight end in the second round.
I mean, think about that. That's crazy. Like a 50 catch tight end, just 50 catches, is getting you 125 points just from. I'm not even factoring in yards or touchdown. I'm just saying 50 catches. You're getting 125 points from that guy. Now, assuming he's averaging even 8 yards a catch, which is very low, that's another 40 points. That gets you 165. And then let's say it gets you like, I don't know, 4 touchdowns. That's 20. That's a 200-point tight end for getting 50 catches, 400 yards, and 4 touchdowns. That's 200 fantasy points. Like what is this league?
It's just unnecessary. Like it does not have to exist.
It doesn't. You know what? Let's take a chance. Not on Aaron Rodgers. Shador as my QB2.
No, I don't know. Do you think he said he's got the 1.1 and the 1.4? Okay, so he's taking Ashton Giante at the 1.1, and he's going to take a tight end at the 1.4. I mean, even with that premium, is that what you do? Take the top tight end? I still feel like that's a little bit overvaluing the position.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it'll depend on where these running backs go. Like if there's 4 running backs that are just in home run spots, then maybe I still go running back. But again, I mean, look at last year. Okay, let's look at it. So again, just taking into account 50 catches, 400 yards, which is terrible for 50 catches, and 4 touchdowns. We're talking about a 200-point tight end. That is the last year. Jamison Williams, wide receiver 23, 202 points. So you're talking about a wide receiver 2 for a 50 catch, 400 yard, 4 touchdown tight end. That's not even good.
That's crazy. Well, my my worry is, look, Tyler Warren might be the best tight end in this class. That's what we think, but he's been linked now lately. The Colts have decided that's it. That's the answer. Like, forget quarterback, whatever. We need a tight end. Like, we need a game changing tight end. Okay, so Tyler Warren goes to the Colts, which is now the latest rumor. He's catching passes from Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. Are we really happy that we took Tyler Warren at the 1-4? That's my thing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously after the NFL draft, like, look, if Loveland lands, let's say, like the Rams or the Chargers or something, and Warren, goes to the Colts, then we'll probably have Loveland over Warren. You know what I mean? Like, obviously it'll change after the draft, but again, I mean, yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, you don't need a receiver, apparently. You've got, like, all the best receivers in the game. How do you have Jettis, Chase, Lamb, and Neighbors?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Then going to trade the 2-1 and Connor for CMC.
I mean, if you could trade the 2-1 and Connor for CMC, that's a smash.
Interesting. I mean, that's okay. Hold on, let me not time out here. I'm staring at your team.
Well, you didn't make the playoffs because you probably how many points did Brock Bowers score in that league?
In that league,
Brock Bowers had 112 catches last year. He had 280 points just from catching the football. Like, just from the ball landing in his hands.
That's insane. Well, look, and I feel like it's a good value here. If you can do the 2-1 for Ingram, I'll take Ingram because he should definitely be very involved this year. So I think that's worth it. Better than taking a shot on a rookie. But I've got to think, I don't know if you have another second round pick still. I've got to think even with that, and he even said that the tight ends are being kind of undervalued. Everyone's not going tight end in the first round. Like, people still want their stud running backs or receiver, and people will need a quarterback. I've got to think that one of those guys could fall to the second round. Maybe not Warren, but a Loveland or someone like that. That's all you got? You want Fannin? Oh, okay.
So I did the math. Brock Bowers scored 430 points in that format, which had to be the highest scoring player.
Yeah,
I don't think
overall.
Like, did any quarterbacks top 430?
That's a good question. You're up, by the way. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know who to take here. Yeah, let me see. What was the highest scoring QB last year? Lamar scored 411. If you give him all 18 games, 434. But then Josh Allen 385. Trey McBride, I'm pretty sure, scored over 400 in that format too. So, yeah. So even though you had Jettas and Chase and Neighbors, you still didn't have the best players in fantasy for that league.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah,
that is insane.
I mean, I think Fannin should be there at the 2.1.
I mean, maybe not in that league.
Well, you got all sorts of trades going on. I got offered Knicks, Harrison, and the 3-1 for Dak, Lamb, and the 2-1. No. Yeah, you don't want that. Well, I will just say too, we have to keep in mind that to some extent, tight end is also very team dependent for value, because if it's on a team that already has really good wideouts, you know what? Brock Bowers did not land in a good offense. He landed on an offense though that had no number one receiver as soon as Devontae Adams was gone, and no offense, Jacoby Myers is solid, but
Right.
there was plenty of targets available for him. But that's my worry with the Colts, is not just the quarterback situation, but Michael Pittman is still pretty good, and Josh Downs is pretty good. They just drafted A.D. Mitchell, who could be pretty good. So I don't feel like they're going to just feed any tight end there a bunch of targets, especially not this year.
I don't even care. It's Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. That's my worry. And again, just because it's rumored doesn't mean they are going to take Warren or a tight end early, but
right. And because the thing is, you don't know how the draft is going to go. Like, you don't know who's going to fall. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, look, this edge rusher is still on the board when the Colts are picking, or you know what I mean? Like, okay, take him.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of assumptions right now.
Right. Like, people just think like, oh, well, they're going to take Titans are taking this guy, Brown's taking and then when it gets to the Colts, these are going to be the guys available.
Mm-hmm.
Not the way it always goes. Trey, did you just take Trey Tucker?
I forced a stack with Geno Smith. That's what I did. Don't recommend it, but look, it's the last round. Why not?
It's taking a lot of. It's just taking another Trevor Etienne. I might be too high on Trevor Etienne.
Daniel, talk about forcing a stack. The non-existent stack, at least not yet, Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf. Oh, Aaron Rodgers. Why can't you just go away? All right. This draft is almost done, so we'll wrap it up and see what our teams look like. A little different. Chris, you actually drafted in the early part of the draft. When you get the 4 pick, I'm stuck in the middle again.
Yeah, I like this draft.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy.
Florida 0 RB.
There. All right, I think it's done.
Yep, there we go.
All right. Another early QB pick with Hurts. Back him up with Shadur. Nothing wrong with that. Then running back. The 0 RB room has Judkins, Connor. I feel like that's a great value. Neil, Ray Davis, Algier Mitchell, and of course, Trevor Etienne.
Whew. It's dicey. It's
the room. Well, I think Connor was a good value. Of course, the rookies are going to kind of make or break, right? If they can pay off a little bit. But Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, DJ Moore is your 3rd. Zay Flowers is your 4th. Buka is your 5th receiver. Stephon Diggs, like an afterthought here. Hollywood Brown is just right in the pine. And then Trey Harris. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And then tight ends.
Jonnu, Jake, and Chig. I mean, hey, that you really don't need your running backs to do too much. So I think if you're going to do it that way, that's the way to do it. You like it overall, though, compared to your other 0 RB drafts?
I feel like pretty good about it, actually. But obviously, I need one of the 2 of those rookie running backs to hit.
All right. So my first share of JD, actually got him at a reasonable spot, and then just backed him up with Geno. Here's my running back room. It's mostly anchor, CMC Henderson, Pollard Tootin, Whitehill, and yes.
Why not? Isaiah Davis. Why not? I like this running back room a lot more than mine. I'll say that.
Like, look, what if Brees Hall gets traded? You never know.
Maybe. Doubtful, but maybe.
All right. Neighbors, McLaurin, McMillan, Shakir, Pittman, Mims. My first time, I think, taking Bond, and yes, that is Trey Tucker. What do you think about
Trey Tucker? It's okay, right? I mean, it's good at the top. Obviously, a lot of risk after that, but there's potential. There's potential.
I got my 2 stud, my 3rd maybe stud with McMillan, right? Maybe. And I feel like Shakir and Pittman are kind of like floor guys. And then I went with Mims and Bonds, like those home run hitters, right? The volatile spike week guys. And yes, let's throw Trey Tucker in as a spike week guy for the one spike week he'll have when he catches his one.
Yes.
And then another 3-headed monster at tight end. I still love the value on these particular. I keep taking these 3 tight ends as much as possible, and I think I'm going to.
I agree. You got the former Jaguar, the current Jaguar, and I like JT Sanders, so I like those tight ends definitely.
All right, yeah, I actually like this build, even from the 7. So there it is, another draft in the books. You guys know the deal. If anybody here hasn't done a big board, maybe you're watching for the first time or just want to see what it's about, you can do it too. You can do it with us live next time we're on, which will be probably very soon. And also, you can just draft whenever. Also, do your picks. Any sport that's going on. We got NBA, NHL, MLB, all sorts of other things. Go to Underdog. If you haven't signed up for Underdog yet, make sure that when you check out for the very first time, there's going to be a spot where it says promo code. Put Endgame in that spot because, as you see down below, they still have a first-time deposit offer where you can get up to $1,000 worth of bonus cash plus free picks to start doing your picks. So don't want to miss that. You also don't want to miss our MLB stream if you are a baseball fan, which is going to start in about 5 minutes. So hop on over to the Fantasy Endgame MLB channel. And even if you don't play fantasy baseball, just come hang out with us, chat, maybe learn to love the game. All right, so we'll see you there. We'll also see you on the next time when we do another one of these drafts. Everybody have a good night, and we'll see you soon.